Hey, Mike here. Okay, so I thought I would show you guys quickly what I had to do to repair a cat hammock to our DIY cat wall. We prefer a wall over trees just because A, we can customize it how we like it, and also it's takes up a lot less space over a bigger area. So we've just been kind of working on adding stuff to this as we go. So for this project, supply list pretty simple. The old hammock, the cap for the pipes that we run the hammock over. I got a um, 1/4 inch piece of walnut that I'm be using. We of course need a drill with a small drill bit, a couple of 1/2 inch screws, a I like to use some sort of auger or something, countersink bit, construction glue, a simple saw, of course pencil to mark. And then here we get started. Um, so the whole thing that we did is we actually used a piece of canvas that we just kind of stitched over some PVC, over some galvanized pipe. The problem is the cats ended up jumping up in enough. They tore the stitches, and I've redone the stitches enough. I've tried gluing them together using hot glue. So what we're going to be doing here is instead is I will just make a couple of small strips using this um, 1/4 inch walnut that I had laying around. It's actually from a previous project I just never got to. So what you'll see me do here is just cut 4 pieces of the exact same length on this piece of walnut. And I'll just go ahead and speed this up as this is kind of boring to watch. I don't need this to be perfect, but I did not want the cats get snagged on it either, so I just took a quick file and kind of shaved off the corners, um, just to prevent any sort of like sharp edges or anything like that. Once I verified I had all the pieces I needed and I made sure that the screws aren't going to stick out from the bottom, I went ahead to start working on taking the canvas apart. Again, it was stitched together using heavy duty um, threading as well as hot glue. So I had to go through and just kind of peel everything out because of the hot glue and because of the way I stitched, which, I'll be honest, I'd never stitched before. Um, I ended up having to use scissors and just kind of get rid of everything here, which you can see me do. Um, it's very simple, flat cut piece of canvas. Like I didn't do anything special here. Went ahead and I just unfurled everything, took everything apart. So again, let me just go ahead and speed this up for you guys. So now that it's all taken apart, I can go ahead and go through with the idea of just kind of sandwiching the canvas between some pieces of wood. I'm sure for anybody that actually knows how to stitch, stitches should have held up fine. But in my 34 years of being on this planet, I've never learned how to actually stitch anything. So it just wasn't working. Um, so of course the whole goal for the canvas is to be able to fit over the galvanized pipes, which are screwed into the wall. So here I'm just kind of seeing fitting it, marking it where I need to sandwich everything together just to make sure that this pipe will work and glide in fairly smoothly. So now that everything's measured out, we know that the pipe's going to fit, I can go ahead and use some construction glue to do the initial glue up of the canvas. We don't need a lot of hold here, so I just got a couple of spring clamps ready, and my plan is just to put the wood and, like I said, sandwich everything in between and using the clamps to just kind of hold it all together. Um, the glue obviously is just there to kind of help, but it's not what I'm going to be relying on. I'll actually be relying on the 3 screws that are going to go in, holding everything together. So here you see, got everything clamped up, and then I'm just one more time test fitting to make sure that the pipe fits. Now that the pipe fits, I can go ahead and get to pre-drilling all the holes. Uh, Nothing special here, it's just a 1/4 inch walnut, so we want to make sure there's holes in it so it doesn't split. And I have a piece of wood underneath it just so I don't drill into my workbench. I do want to apologize. I'm still learning camera positioning and getting in the habit of that, so the drill does get in the way every now and then. Here we go. I did use 2 separate drills and counter bit sinks just because I didn't have a small enough one for it. And then instead of trying to switch out bits, I just went ahead and I used a handheld screwdriver to go ahead and get all this fit together. Um, Absolutely nothing fancy here. This is pretty much videos just to give you guys an idea as to what I was doing here. I couldn't find much online in the sense of how to best make one of these, and I didn't want to spend a bunch of money on buying materials and stuff, so this worked out pretty well. Um, the reason you see me take everything apart now is because I didn't go through and do a deep enough counter bit sink, so when I drilled the hole in, I split the wood. And I ended up having to use one of the other pieces I cut to go ahead and redo the sandwich and screw everything together. Accidents happen. Oops. This time around, I probably did go ahead and overdo it with the counterbit sink, but I wanted to make sure that the screws were truly recessed underneath, just so I don't have any sharp edges that might scratch the cats. And B, I didn't want to split another piece of wood. Then I took the file and I just kind of made sure any points that may have come through I filed off, and then of course I went through and made sure to cut another piece of that walnut off for the other end of this project. Last but not least, just kind of a repeat on the other side of the hammock. I went through and marked everything out, measured, glued, sandwiched, drilled, and put it together. I'll speed this last thing up quite a bit just to save you guys some time. After I got myself some food and I came back, I was interested to see as to what the glue would hold up as, and I think it would actually been fine without the screws, honestly. But like I said, cats have torn us apart a couple times now, so I just wanted to be safe. I went ahead and I made the final adjustment here with or not adjustment, final assembly with the last piece of wood. Got it all glued together and clamped together, and of course screwed, or pre-drilled, screwed, and all of that fun stuff. At which point, the main fix for the hammock was complete. So now I'll go ahead and take you guys over to the wall where I show you how everything comes kind of together. The thing is, it's just galvanized pipes with the flange on the bottom that screws into the wall. The only concern I had, and what you're going to see me do here, is the left one was in the wall with just anchors and it became kind of wobbly. So I made the decision here to go ahead and just take it all apart and put essentially a piece of backboard on the back of it that I can go ahead and screw these guys into. Fairly straightforward stuff. Nothing special here. I took these mounts off. Let's go ahead and call them mounts. Took them off, and then went ahead and used a simple stud finder to find the studs and be able to measure out where I needed to put that backboard to screw the hammock in place. So once I found the studs, which you will find me doing here soon, I hope, I went through and measured it out. I think it was 26 inches. I don't know. I know that's not the norm. Don't ask. This house is weird. But yeah, I went ahead and I marked it out, and then just cut a piece of plywood out that would fit right. The only criteria I really had was to make sure that the flanges of the pipe would fit as it does. Once I did, I cut the piece down to size, and then just mounted the backboard to the wall first, and then just the pipe flanges. And here's the final product. Thank you guys for watching, and if this is something that you enjoy, please don't hesitate to hit the subscribe button and leave me a comment, and I'll see you guys in the next video.